This is the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. It reads, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechak. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace and salutations unto all the Akim, you brothers preaching his word in truth and in sincerity across the four corners of the earth. All right, and today, just want to go on the topic of mercy. Inspired off a reading within the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 24, when it was going to David, essentially having the opportunity to smite and kill Saul in a cave that they were both in at the time. And even when he had the opportunity to do so, he still had mercy upon him, knowing that he was the Lord's anointed. And it was the Spirit, because I was meditating on this earlier in the week, that what the Lord had told us. Let me grab it real quick. Salakia. God damn it. Oh my goodness, it's Satan. Salakia, this is Matthew 5 and 7. Let me just check looking at 5 and 7. Matthew 5 and 7. "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy." Okay. And within that chapter, man, it exemplifies this very verse. David having mercy upon someone that was trying to take his soul. And that's what we have to do in these times now as well. Whoever tries to come against us, whoever tries to, push our buttons or, tries to get over on us, hey, let it fall into the hands of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and he's going to come through for us. Vengeance is his, he will repay. We don't got to, try to retaliate or try to get vengeance on our own. Nah. Let the Lord fight your battles, and show mercy. Turn a cheek. All right, so let me go ahead and let's go to this book of 1 Samuel. Because again, everything written aforetime is written for our learning. So this was 1 Samuel 24. I'm going to start at verse 1. And we'll jump around through the Spirit. And Lord willing, this video will be edifying and exhorting. So this is 1 Samuel 24 and 1. It says, "And it came to pass, when Saul was returned from following the Philistines, that it was told him, saying, Behold, David is in the wilderness of En-Gedi." If I'm pronouncing that correctly, Salakia. It says, "Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and went to seek David and his men upon the rocks of the wild goats." It says, "And he came to the sheepcotes by the way where was a cave. And Saul went in to cover his feet, and David and his men remained in the sides of the cave. And the men of David said unto him, Behold, the day of which the Lord Yahweh said unto thee, Behold, I will deliver thine enemy into thine hand, that thou mayest do to him as that shall seem good unto thee. Then David arose and cut off the skirt of Saul's robe privately. And it came to pass afterward that David's heart smote him, because he had cut off Saul's skirt. And he said unto his men, The Lord Yahweh forbid that I should do this thing unto my master, the Lord's anointed, to stretch forth mine hand against him, seeing he is the anointed of Yahweh." So think, after all this time, Saul was he was on a prowl, like searching after David, looking to kill him. And it was set up through the Spirit. Saul ended up in the same cave, and while David had the opportunity to basically to kill him, right, go after him, even when he was searching after David, when Saul was looking to put him to death, David didn't do so. He considered that this man was set up by the Lord. he considered that the Lord set him up and chose him. So it says 1 Samuel 24:7. So David stayed his servants with these words and suffered them not to rise against Saul, but Saul rose up out of the cave and went on his way. David also arose afterward and went after the Slakia. Excited. David also arose afterward and went out of the cave and cried after Saul, saying, "My lord, the king." And when Saul looked behind him, David stooped with his face to the earth and bowed himself. And David said to Saul, "Wherefore hearest thou men's words, saying, Behold, David seeketh thy hurt? Behold, this day thine eyes have seen how that the Lord Yahweh had delivered thee today into mine hand in the cave. And some bade me kill thee, but mine eyes spared thee. And I said, I will not put forth mine hand against my Lord, for he is the Lord's anointed. Moreover, my father, see the skirt of thy robe in my hand, for in that I cut off the skirt of thy robe and killed thee not. Know thou and see that there is neither evil nor transgression in mine hand, and I have not sinned against thee. Yet thou huntest my soul to take it. The Lord Yahweh judge between me and thee, and the Lord Yahweh avenge me of thee, but mine hand shall not be upon thee. As saith the proverb of the ancients, wickedness proceeded from the wicked, but mine hand shall not be upon thee. NLT, it reads in that verse 13, 1 Samuel 24:13. As that old proverb says, from evil people come evil deeds. So you can be sure I will never harm you. And that was a righteous stance that David took, man. You know? And we can learn from this. Like, we can learn from the mercy that David showed onto the Lord's anointed at the time. Even, like, you could imagine, like, what was going through his head. Like, this is a man that was coming after you, and you still had mercy, considering Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, really considering the Lord. You know? But let me go ahead and I asked ChatGPT, right? Kind of went away. The significance of David having mercy on Saul. So it says, and it goes into lists some of the things, right? And it's mighty. And I'll get the key points. So it says, number one, it proves David's respect for God's authority. David refuses to kill Saul because Saul is the Lord's anointed. Even though Saul is trying to kill him, David honors the position God gave Saul. It shows David didn't grab by force. He trusted the Most High to remove Saul in God's time and not his own. It revealed David's heart, humility over ambition. Number two, it says it demonstrates true godly restraint. David had, and it goes on to list 3 bullet points, the perfect chance, the support of his men, and every reason, humanly speaking, to kill Saul. Right. Because humanly speaking, carnally speaking, he had every right to kill him. Right. He was coming after him. You know what I'm saying? Time and time again, David had to flee, but he chose to restrain. The significance, it says, this is biblical leadership, power under control, meekness. David showed strength not by killing, but by, Salakia. David showed strength not by killing, but by not killing. Let me grab that real quick. Because that self-restraint, that self-control goes a long way. Proverbs 16:32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh the city. Right? In the NLT, it reads, better to be patient than powerful, better to have self-control than to conquer a city. Because with that self-control, you know, you establish that that self-morale. You know what I mean? Better to be patient going into suffering than powerful. right? Because through that suffering, you are showing that you are powerful. You having that power over the flesh, right? You're ruling your spirit and trusting in the Lord's timing. You're trusting that the Lord has you, rather than to take vengeance and take matters into your own hands. No, you're waiting on Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and that takes great faith, doing so. And again, it's something that we can learn from. Right, because sometimes we, being within the flesh, it's your first reaction to respond carnally. All right, but through the precepts, through the Ruach HaKodesh, we could combat the flesh and learn from the examples within the scriptures. Letting the Lord work, ruling over our spirit, and praying to the Lord that He directs our steps in righteousness. So going back, third point, it says it exposes Saul's guilt and David's innocence. When David shows Saul the cut piece of his robe, Saul realizes David is not trying to overthrow him. Saul is the one acting wickedly. God is clearly with David. Saul even says, "You are more righteous than I," and it's later within that chapter. But it says significance. It publicly proves David's innocence and Saul's unrighteousness. Number 4, it illustrates divine justice versus human revenge. David chooses to let the Most High deal with Saul. And the quote, it says, "May the Lord judge between you and me." So again, he had the faith. He had the willingness to let the Most High work on his time and not take matters into his own hands again. It says, David models what Romans 12:19 later teaches. "Vengeance is mine, says the Lord." Number 5, it foreshadows Christ-like mercy, or the anointed mercy, right? David shows mercy to an enemy who was trying to destroy him. It mirrors the heart of a Mashiach, blessing enemies, refusing revenge, overcoming evil with good. And like the scriptures tell us, let's grab it real quick. Because this is how we have to act in these times. Matthew 10:16, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." And the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but spiritual. Right? We're just preaching the word. And we're coming out of this book, out of the Holy Scriptures, out of the living word. Vengeance is not ours. We're not looking to take revenge on this side. We're waiting on the Lord to get his glory, and then eventually, Lord willing, we beat them hunters. All right, that's when we're going to take matters into our own hands via Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It's really through his righteous anger. You know what I mean? But right now, we're sent as sheep in the midst of wolves. We're not looking to get fame or praise or, establish a name in this world. Nah. We take the low seat. And we have to be wise in these times because people are going to try to provoke us. But that's why it's so important to pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that we be in good graces with him and he's going to keep us protected. No matter what they try to come against us or try to provoke us with, we got to be calm as cucumber, so to speak. Cool as a cucumber. Right? And basically let the Lord deal with them. And you know how mighty that is, bro, to walk away from a situation knowing that the Lord is going to take care of them. Like, I'm cool. When a motherfucker's talking bad about you or, anything for that matter. It's like, I'm all right. The Lord's going to handle you. Having that faith, having that belief, like, what can you say? To hell with these people have to think. You know, if the Lord be for us, who can be against us? Let's go back. Number 6, it says it cements David's rightful path to the throne. Because David didn't seize the throne by blood, his rise was legitimate. The kingdom later had unity. The Most High's favor on him was undeniable. His rule wouldn't be built on murder, but on righteousness. And number 7, all right, completion. It says it teaches a major life lesson. Sometimes God, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, puts you in a position where, number 1, you could take matters into your own hands. And number 2, but he wants to see if you'll trust him instead. David passed that test. And that's it right there. He wants to see if you'll trust him instead. Sometimes he'll put you in a position to where you can get a one-up, so to speak. But he wants to prove you. You know, he wants to see if you're going to act carnally or spiritually. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, we're not perfect. We're going to fail sometimes. But if we do fail, that's a time to recognize it, pray to the Lord, and clean it up. You know, because we want to pass time and time again. And we have to trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai rather than ourselves or rather than anything else. All right, pray to the Lord for the counsel, the wisdom, and ultimately to direct our steps in righteousness again. Because his way is the best way. Our way is going to fail us time and time again. You know? But yeah, man, that's basically it. All right. Lord willing, this is edifying and exhorting on to you. Again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, Shalom, Wa, Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abad Babal, soon.